State of Decay 2 is one of the weirdest games I've played. It's weird in that I don't think it's good, but for some unknown reason I played it for like over 40 hours. Mostly because I had a friend to play with and we were waiting for Black Ops 4, but still, we probably should not have played this game for as long as we did. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let's just start with the story. There is none. Well, I mean, there is, but like, no one cares, and it's barely there anyway. So I'm not mad about it either because it's not the point of the game. But the main plot does revolve around building a group of survivors and destroying the plague hearts across the region. There are a few brief, overarching narrative segments, but the story is mostly found in the everyday events of your community, as there is usually something interesting happening. It's not always interesting for the right reasons, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
Where is he going?
Let me switch back.
Dude, he's... Yo, what is he doing? You better sleep.
Details.
You better get back in the bed. Get back in the bed.
Honestly, I think managing your community is one of the strong points here. There is a lot of micromanaging involved, but I like the various different things you had to do to keep the community running and happy. Making sure all the facilities were working properly, maintaining a constant supply of resources, and checking in on each person's individual needs created a constant flow of stuff to do. So while there isn't a big narrative here, there is plenty of room to create your own adventure. The voice acting, however, ranges from decent to hilariously bad, with some characters sounding like they were just trying to do a really horrible accent. The few cutscenes were also pretty awful, but thankfully there were only a few. And the ending is bad, but since it's not really a big story, we can't expect much. But the ending was so bland it's not even worth mentioning. The combat in State of Decay 2 is fine, but it's not something I would call good. I do think it works well enough though. The various missions are fun at first, although as you play more, they start to blend together and eventually end up feeling the same. The real fun came from trying to find a good base, upgrade it, and then collecting all the cars to upgrade and display. That's what my friend and I did for the large part of the game, and we had a lot of fun doing so. I also like that there are 3 different map regions to choose from when you start, which adds some good diversity, if you end up playing with a friend like I did. It was cool to switch back and forth between each other's bases and spend time improving one, then hopping over to the other to improve that. Although, I really wish there was a mode for both of us to have the same base and play like in the same game, because the way it's set up now, you can only join your friend's game to help them out. Having to switch games definitely added some variety, but I don't understand why we couldn't have the same base in the same game like a true co-op experience.
Jim and Bean.
Bro,
Jim and Bean.
I'm trying, you retard. Really, I hope you know this is your fault.
The various parts and materials you scavenge around the world can be used to craft different items or build different structures in your base. I thought these systems worked pretty well, except I really don't like how artificially dire every situation was. Meaning, the game felt like they were purposely limiting everything so it could make the players have to constantly be out crafting and scavenging new gear. This type of mentality haunts a lot of this game, and I was constantly asking myself, does this game take place in a world where everything is made out of glass? Because it seemed like everything was breaking 20 times the normal rate. As far as enemies go, there are only like 4 types of zombies, but they were interesting enough at first. After a while though, it got tiring to fight them. And I don't know who programmed this game, but they decided that it was a good idea to make zombies spawn literally every 10 seconds. I mean, you cannot catch a single break in this game. Every moment of peace you think you have to work on something, boom, 10 more zombies just spawned in. Now, this isn't all bad because god damn do they nail the feeling of you getting swarmed. I mean, they nail it really, really well. But after 20-30 hours of fighting, you really wish the zombies would just chill out. My friend Jim and I went on a car collecting spree, trying to find every car in the game and return it to the base. And these zombies were just making it a pain in the ass to do so. That and the fact that a full tank of gas runs out in like 3 minutes of driving, which also goes back to my previous point of artificially dire circumstances. The cars in this game were pretty cool though, and they had some awesome upgrades that turned them into these badass war machines. The only issue I had with the upgrades was that the game straight up lies to you. Like, it literally says upgrading will increase carrying space, and then when you upgrade, there is no extra carrying space. I guess they forgot to iron out that one little bug. Or the bug where your sound would cut out and an incredibly loud static noise would pierce your ears. Or the bug where the AI completely blocks your path when you are in a friend's game. Or the bug where there's teleporting zombies. You get stuck on every object. Driving in the ground. Cars go invisible. Guns just disappear. There's literally flying cars. Yeah, there are a lot of bugs throughout every second of the game. And this is probably the most buggy game I've ever played. Thankfully, a lot of them are just hilarious bugs, but others like the sound glitch would require a full restart, and that bug happened like 20 times between both me and Jim. Yet, through all of that, we kept playing. Honestly, I still don't fully know why. I mean, I guess it was just kind of fun to mess around in the world. So, from a visual standpoint, this game looks pretty good. Not great, but it still looks solid. The lighting is the real standout here, and I think the game nails the look of nighttime better than pretty much any other game I've seen. The different maps are also well designed, and they have their own little style or flair, while still sharing a core visual theme. But the real winner here is the music. Man, this music is far and away the best part of the game. I mean, it perfectly nails the feeling of isolation with an impending threat all around you. It's low-key enough so that it doesn't get in the way, but it's always there to help keep the tension and mood. Shout out to the composer for real. So I've already mentioned a lot of the issues so far, but best believe there are more problems. First and foremost, the performance can be pretty bad at times, with the frame rate dropping as low as single digits while driving. Some hard crashes also occur, and the performance as a whole gets noticeably worse when playing in co-op. So yeah, this is definitely a weird game. I mean, I enjoyed my time with it, but I really don't think it's a good game, and I'm torn between whether or not I think it's decent or just mediocre. It's a game that has a lot of bad parts to it, but it usually was never bad enough to make me that annoyed with it. We mostly just laughed at the problems. So, would I recommend it? Not really. Is it fun? Sort of, but I think you really need a friend to get the most out of it. So, now don't get me wrong, the core game is not bad, and there are certainly some good elements here, but it's really weighed down by a lack of polish in pretty much every aspect.
That tough ass driving. Damn it.